That's probably a part of frolicking. Yeah, that's. I'm sure that's considered a frolic to be naked outside under a waterfall.
feel like I need like hobbit feet for frolicking.
Oh man, that would be nice to be a hobbit and be able to frolic. I mean, yeah, it's just like sitting outside and enjoying the day and maybe rolling around in the grass and just laughing and just being alive and being happy that you're alive.
So
Something
what
that
you're saying, frolicking is like a women's feminine product commercial?
where they're just like riding bikes and stuff and like you too
Right.
can frolic.
Right.
Or like one of those what is those like STD like herpes commercials where everybody seems to be having fun. It's like
Right.
your herpes outbreak won't be so bad, You can still go kayaking and stuff.
Frolicking is no longer for the whites.
Hey, I think we invented it so we can reclaim it.
I mean, I feel like we invented everything, so we're just gonna go along with just like things like a tag just claim, and we're just gonna post it on random stuff. Just scroll through like, oh, this building that was built claimed. So,
I
sorry,
like
Irish.
I like when it's like when people claim on the internet like stuff that is obviously not true. Like, oh yeah, black people are the first Japanese people. Like
Oh, that's a tough one to pull. Oh,
I was like,
I
like
mean, oh,
technically
that's a tough
yes,
one to pull.
everybody like technically yes, everybody was at first black people, right?
Right,
But
right.
it's like
Oh,
just stop. Not everything was invented by
that's
black people. It's okay. It's okay.
that's on
You
some
know,
12 tribes, you know, exiling tribes type of attitude there.
yeah. Those what are those what are the Jewish Hebrews? Those
Yeah,
guys, those dudes. The
yeah, yeah.
brother was the first man on the moon. They tried to make you think that Neil Armstrong was the first man, but back in 7 million years ago,
Really, it was Louis Armstrong was the first one on the moon,
yeah,
and they just
Louis
changed the
Armstrong.
name.
Yeah.
The trumpet
He was
player,
never
yeah, that one too.
he was never famous playing the trumpet. That's just a lie the white man tells you.
Right. Matter of fact, we've been to the back and forth to the moon so many times. Really, we call it something different. We don't even call it a moon. We call it the Eye of Osiris. But that's something for another day. Yeah, I'm like, all right,
Don't even
brother.
worry about it. You're not even woke enough for that.
Like, can I just buy the bean pie or not? Like,
Yeah. I really just came into the store to use the bathroom, man.
Stay woke, brother. Stay woke. Okay.
As we both walk in
Get
with
that third eye like Doctor Strange, my brother. Like, all right.
with our white girlfriends and wives.
Right, right.
Like the dude from I'm Gonna Get You Sucker.
Right.
She down from the car, sunshine.
Oh man. No, yeah, it was I think you're right. The like Hebrew Israelites or something like that. Somebody's gonna
Yeah, the
be like,
Israelites, that's what they're called.
how dare you guys disgrace our name? I don't we're doing enough by just talking about you. And these times you just gotta put on anything black at this point with everything going on in this world.
Shout out to the Israelites, the first Jews. Yeah.
Right. So we got intros. I didn't know if you wanted to put spoiler talk at the beginning or the end.
No, everybody seems to be mad at me that I have a different opinion, so I don't want to do it.
That's what makes it great. That's why I wanted to have it, because I was like, let's do this.
We should probably do it in the beginning, so while it's still fresh in my mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then intro spoiler talk for Doctor Strange 2. Firestarter, one sentence. Then we do our reviews. Then rate it. Alice, same thing. And then Top Gun OG. Do you want to do a one sentence on that, or you just want to roll right
We can do
into...
a one sentence of that. I think I have a pretty good one sentence for this.
Let's do that. I had one just in case. I had one in the tuck. Just in case. So, and so, yeah, we could do that. And, I guess let's start at... I was going to say at 9:15 is what I kind of posted. So I guess I'll keep that. It won't be like people be jumping into the show's already started. Well, sorry, we couldn't wait.
How can I share this on my Facebook so that my mom can watch us? She would never.
I would have to just log yours into StreamYard. So next time we do it, I'll log yours in, and then we can do it that way.
Okay. My mom would be like, "I don't understand what you guys are talking about," and I'm like, "We explain everything, Mom. It's TV shows and movies. It's not."
All right, baby. I'm just going to support. That's all.
Yeah, that's all. I tell my church all the time.
Yeah, I tell her all the time. Like, you don't gotta listen to what we talk about. Just have it running. That's all.
Just put it on.
We get the points if you watch or listen or not, so it's fine. Yeah.
Just put it on when you're doing your knitting. I don't know if any black mom knits.
No, not anymore. No.
I know that. So
I'm pretty sure that's over.
Sure that's over. They don't force us to no more.
I think don't force us to anymore. Fitting for that we reviewed Alice.
Yeah.
I feel like my grandmother knits, but I mean, I could just be making that up completely.
Have no idea.
Right. Oh man. Okay. Let's see. I mean, we didn't really promote this show, so it's okay. It's fine. People are probably like, "Oh,
one person."
Like, why am I being notified that a show started? Like, it's Monday and it's late. Them dudes need to get a life.
I mean, freaking, what was it? What was the girl's name? Moxicillin?
Yes.
Yeah. That person stayed the whole entire time.
I know. It had some great comments too. Yeah. It's really good. All right. Get your Baba Booies out. We can get rolling.
Baba Booey, high staring Baba Booey. Here we go.
Welcome, everybody, to the N Word for Nerd podcast. I am your host, Jason, and I'm here with the Duke of all Nightshades, the Duke of all Nerds, the real Jason himself. Jason, what's going on, friend?
I don't think I can call the Duke of all Nightshades because that incorporates all of our people. And everybody knows the Duke is like Tyler Perry at this point of all black people.
Is he the Duke?
He would be the Duke because Oprah Winfrey would be the queen. Well, maybe Beyonce would be the queen. Oprah Winfrey would probably be like, I don't know, like a viceroy or, you know.
Viceroy. What happens like when like the queen steps down and like it's like, oh, I don't want to be the queen. So you next generation have it, but she's still alive. But she's still technically the queen.
Well, she abdicted the throne, so you know she's no longer the queen. She's just the former queen. I don't know. I don't know anything about royalty. I don't fucking know.
It's just like we still call like President Obama, even though he's no longer the president.
Yeah, I'm assuming you would still call her queen, right? But you wouldn't. You just be like, oh, she don't make no rules because
she should change it to like Queenie. Once you step down, you're Queenie, and so like, oh, go ahead, Queenie Oprah,
because Queen Elizabeth's uncle was king before her dad was, and he stepped down because he was a Nazi. But I don't think they call him king anymore.
Well, when you're tied to a group. You got to go down with that anchor. So, yeah. Well, welcome everybody to the N Word for Nerd show. If you didn't like that probably illogical and probably completely wrong history lesson, shame on you. All right.
We are not Joe Rogan. We should not be taking as fact.
Right. And if you do not know, this is a show for blurbs, by blurbs, produced by blurbs, maybe possibly not edited by blurbs any longer, but we'll see how that goes. Other than that, if you don't know what a blurb is, please fill them in.
It's a black nerd. You know. I mean, you guys have been watching for a long time now. Y'all know. I don't have to explain it to you. Y'all know. It's black nerd. It's us. Audience. It's me. It's Jason. It's other people that I probably know that are black and nerds. I don't know.
Also, guys, it's coming up close. The 21st is just next week. We are going to review Black Sands, The Seven Kingdoms, Volume 1 and Volume 2. Because we want to make a book club that specifically highlights black and brown or authors of color or creators or illustrators of color. So if you haven't got your copy of Black Sands, please go ahead and go out there and cop it. 21st, we will do a live show where we will review it, review both of those and put it out there. If you missed a live show, it will be on Facebook and on our Facebook channel and on our YouTube channel. So you can still find it and get it and cop it, and you can read through it and go, all right, let me see what the fellas thought about it and listen to it later. But it would be great to have you join us. So please make sure you do that.
And we always keep it
Jason,
100, even though it's made by Black people or people of color. If it sucks, it sucks. If it's good, it's good.
Absolutely.
I mean, of course, we're grading on a curve here because
Oh no, I'm keeping it raw and uncut. I'm keeping it like that Tony Montana, man. Just all that.
Definitely a bell curve here. It's like, oh, if this was like Harry Potter written by a white person versus Harry Potter written by a Black person, that might be a little bit high. Same words.
Right. So I do this now where like I go, Black everything first. So I'll just be like, oh, the white Harry Potter. And everybody's like, Harry Potter's white. No, like the white Harry Potter. Sorry. They're like,
I mean,
the Black
y'all,
Harry Potter?
White.
whatever wizard I want to find, that's the Black Harry Potter. But he's the white Harry Potter.
I don't know. I read the story about Lee Jordan the whole entire time. I don't even know who this Harry Potter is.
100%. Now, I mean, that's a great transition. We can jump right into. We're going to have a spoiler conversation about Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, another wizard, as Peter Parker would call him. And so last week we did our spoiler-free review. So this we want to do a spoiler version of it because we do have some concerns and some issues. Let me change it. Jason has some concerns and some issues. I don't have no concerns. He just wanted to get off his shit. No, Jason, just lean into it. It's fine. Okay. Just lean into it, my man. Just lean into it. So we're going to start off just brand new. I have a set of questions for this. So we're going to go right into it, the meat of this argument or discussion, the treatment of Wanda Maximoff in this movie. I feel like Jason has, I can say a beef, but some critiques about it.
I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I know it's not just me, but I know people have had the opposite opinion of me. So it's not just me, but it's also other people have that where we left off at the end of WandaVision, it was more hopeful than what we get when we start at the beginning of Doctor Strange. For me, that's just my opinion. I thought from the ending of WandaVision, even though she was studying the Darkhold, like her kid screaming is something that she's going to go find and rescue her kids from the multiverse. Maybe her, and what's fucked up about this whole entire thing too is the fact that like you have the whole entire multiverse, and her thing was like, I'm just gonna find any kids. I don't give a fuck if they're like this is the first two that I find, those are mine, and I'm gonna kill whoever Wanda is there. Like you could have found like the orphan pair of your kids that just died, like where Wanda and Vision, I'm assuming Vision's the father, just died. It's a multiverse. It's infinite possibilities. But she's gonna find just a regular two, just the first two she sees, and it's like, oh, these are my babies, and they're not your babies. But I digress. I just think for me personally, it was kind of a leap from where she was at the end, even though she did bad things in WandaVision. Let's not color it. She did a whole lot of bad shit in WandaVision, but that shit wasn't straight up mass murder. And in this one, she goes from maybe a reluctant torturer to a straight up. And there's a line.
I'll say reluctant is a hard word here, but continue.
There's a line between reluctant torture and straight up like, I don't give a fuck. You're all dead. Like she murdered, like she horribly kills all those sorcerers from Taj or whatever. She doesn't like she's like, this is mean being reasonable. Like she ain't being reasonable at all. Sorry. You go over there and you burning people alive and torturing poor Minotaur people and shit. And then you go up and have brain explodes and you rip Mr. Fantastic apart. Like it's a jump. And I know they explain that, the Darkhold is causing this, but I feel like there should have been more to that in my humble opinion. I feel like there should have been more emphasis on the Darkhold being the one that's controlling Wanda versus Wanda just being a bitch. Because she's just a bitch in this. Though I did enjoy, let's keep it 100. Freaking the Olsen twins' little sister killed it in this. She's probably the best part of this whole entire movie. It's just like she just falls into we talked about because of the horror aspect. She definitely plays like Michael Myers or or Freddy Krueger, just someone who's just unhinged and just like, I have a single focus and I don't care who's going to get in my way. Y'all getting clapped. And that was
Oh, I
great.
mean,
I just
that tunnel scene alone was like straight out of
yes,
a horror
was
movie.
awesome. But just for me, it seemed like a bit of a leap. I know people probably disagree. That's fine. But for me, Jason Ade Baker, the third, Esquire, Duke of all nerds, it seemed like a leap. But that's like my only like real critique of the movie. And that's like, because like honestly, if you hadn't watched WandaVision, you just watched the in game and you just like you don't give a shit about the stuff that's on Disney Plus, you'll be completely confused.
Oh,
You're like,
100%.
you're like, where the fuck this kid come from? Like, she's the bad guy now? Like, you.
Right.
But then that's any Marvel shit anyway. So you got to watch all the stuff in Marvel just to stay ahead.
My biggest beef always with Marvel is that like their movies aren't stories told traditionally. Their movies are pathways to get to ends to a means to whatever quote unquote the real end will be. Like I feel like after phase one, they stopped telling like complete in their moment stories. They started telling stories that happen to this character, but also have some kind of sprinkle of what the universe can hold for the future. So I've always complained about that recently because it just goes against everything I know about story writing. But I've learned to accept it because we're getting something that all of us nerds have like dreamed about since we picked up a comic book, before we watched the 90s X-Men cartoons, before we watched Spider-Man. Like we all dreamed of having this stuff on the live cinema where we can enjoy it in the movies. So that's why I kind of been like, you know what, Jason, you're getting what you want. Don't be a sucker about it. With that being said, I disagree with you, but I agree with you. So let's start where I agree with you. Everything you said, I agree with, but because of the weak actions of storylines in Marvel, that's what makes me disagree with you, because I feel like a lot of Marvel has been left up to, I don't even want to call it headcanon, wink gun, but it's been put up to interpretation and you connecting lines of logic from little things they give you. So yes, WandaVision is all about grief. You know what the worst thing WandaVision ever did is have that ending scene, because she leaves that area and is supposed to be under the premise that she understands that this all was made by her and it was a figment, and that she's leaving and that's it. She's learning that Vision's no longer coming back except for gentrified Vision, but we'll talk about him later. The kids weren't real, because there's even a point where
Shad Vision.
she even like leaves and she goes, "Oh, thank you guys for choosing me to be your mother." When no, you created them, chick. Like they didn't choose anything. You created them, which I think that's a funny moment. That's the last scene with her and her kids in WandaVision, and it very heavily connects to Doctor Strange 2 about choosing her to be the mother, because we know the kids that she tried to choose was not choosing her to be their mother. So I thought that was a very cool little moment that, again, like I said, nothing really ties those scenes together except for my imagination of seeing one and watching the other. But going along the lines of the worst thing that could have happened to that is that final scene. That final scene does not seem like a woman that's gotten over grief and got closure. That final scene basically predicted Wanda as, "Oh, I lied to you guys so I could bounce and go do what I want to do without anybody touching me. I realized that taking over a town was the wrong way to do it." It said, "Hell no." Exactly.
Hell no.
Thank you, Jaden. Yeah. But that's the thing. Like that final scene kills all of the development of that whole series. And so if you go by that premise, what happens in Multiverse of Madness is very in line, because she wasn't remorseful for what she did to those people. She got told by like episode 4, 3, and 4, she was torturing these people. And she was like, "So I got Vision in these kids. Fuck out of here. Oh, Monica Rambeau, you want to tell me that I'm a bad person for doing this? Get out of here." And she kicks her out of the town. Like,
you never listen to the Black Lady.
That she was told that she is hurting people, and she chose the kids and Vision over all of those people's feelings, emotions, and the torture she was giving them. So that already let you know, this is before the Darkhold. So that already put a thing in your mind that Wanda is going to put that family that is fake over anybody else's feelings and anybody else's pain. Now you add in the Darkhold. Now she's being corrupted. Now, here's a good key factor thing that people didn't even peep at the end of the movie that's going to tie us to the beginning here. Doctor Strange probably had the Darkhold for what, maybe a couple of hours for his zombie to climb the mountain.
Oh
And what did
yeah.
Wong say after it got done? Wong said, dude, you had the Darkhold, you ran through it, like it's going to have an effect on you. What do you think it's going to have? And Doctor Strange's like, oh, I'm fine. Imagine if you had the Darkhold for months or weeks. The corruption that it could do to you when Wanda is telling Doctor Strange, who has been trained in the magical arts. Let's not forget, Wanda was never trained in the magical arts. She just imbuked it and then got told she was a Scarlet Witch and unfulfilled some power. Not to mention that also, Agatha said that the Scarlet Witches
powers.
right, but also Agatha told her that these powers are basically corruptive. Like people forget that scene. Agatha told her that these powers she has corruptive. So you have corruptive powers, being untrained, and a corruptive force corrupting you even more. With the woman's who desire has always been, I don't care about other people, I only care about my family. Yeah, that heel turn is that heel turn was written on the wall. And like I said, if you tie that last scene with Juan saying for that brief time that Doctor Strange had it, that it should still corrupt him a bit. If he was trained, imagine what it did to the untrained person who had a desire for something she wanted. So yes, torturing and killing people is way up her alley at this point, because what does she want? She wanted her kids and she was not going to stop. And that's why she even tried to be like, just move aside and let me have her. Because if you don't, this is going to get bad. And they're like, no, Wanda, it's still some good. You can't do this. You're an Avenger. Blah, 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 blah. And Wanda's like, dude, I ain't that hoe no more. Fuck that. last
ain't no Avengers anyway. There's a guy with a bow and arrow, two bug dudes. What the fuck are they? I don't give a fuck.
And the last time I listened to you cats, my kids about my vision got away. So I'm giving everybody L's. I'm not leaving nobody to torture. I'm giving everybody L's. And look, so that's why I was like, now granted, a lot of those lines I made are things that were not given in the movie. And that's why I agree with you. Where I'm like, all the things I said was not given in the movie. It could have probably been all added extra 2-3 minutes here to kind of flesh that. Even Doctor Strange saying to them, being like, hey, no, this isn't the Wanda we're used to. Something changed in her. And he could even recount it like, look, this chick tortured the whole town knowingly. What do you think she's going to do now that she has a Darkhold and possess? Like, yes, that could have easily been explained. But like I said before, that's why I started with Marvel's bad habit with story writing is the reason why I could put all that together and go, oh, that's why the heel turn is there. And Marvel didn't do a good job of explaining it. But if you look at those things, like I said, I just pieced together all those little parts of what she did in actions and things they spoke about that can lead to you saying, okay, this is why she's gone this far. The only part I did not like that I thought was kind of like with the Wanda character, that was like, okay, all right, now we've gotten to a point that was like, all right, was that her decision to be like, oh, I have a throne. This is all made for me. Let me, like, it kind of felt like the motivation kind of slightly changed from finding my kids to being like, oh, I should be ruling this shit because I'm a queen. But like, did you feel that? And then it kind of like just supposed to be like, oh no, it's about her kids again.
No.
I don't know.
I should be, but I don't really want to. I just really want. I mean, but it would
Right,
be cool
right.
if it was me. But I just want my kid. But maybe I'll try this out for a little bit. I don't know.
Also, my last argument too for a while, I think the heel turn was a good heel turn thought process because as soon as they burnt and destroyed the Darkhold, she almost kind of got back normal again, and that's when she kind of sacrificed herself. If we believe she's dead, which we can talk about later on, like once that thing got taken off the table, she kind of reverted back very quickly. So that leads me even further to believe that she was under the control, but her still human desires was what was promoting the Darkhold to make her more fierce than ever.
I very much hope she's dead because they have this thing of trying to make all villains good guys again with Loki,
the Fast and the
like
Furious.
At this point, fucking Wanda's. I mean, like as far as I'm concerned, it's unredeemable. She done slaughtered. It's like Loki. You can kind of say, okay, I might have led the Chitauri army there, but I wasn't doing the killing. He could have. I wasn't doing the killing. I you know what? I fought Thor in the first one, but like it was just really me and him, and no one really got hurt. But Wanda is like, nah, I was up there just like ripping people's guts out.
Well, Loki did take that dude's eye out. The dude probably survived, but he did. But he did take his eye out.
We don't know if he's dead or not.
As I said, he probably survived. So, but he did take the dude's eye in a brutal fashion. Like it wasn't a nice way. He could have froze the dude's mind and took it. He was like, nah, I want you to feel this.
Either way,
contraption.
I'm tired of the whole like redeeming arc of the villains. Like, there's a point where like, yes, I may forgive you, but I ain't never gonna trust your black ass again.
Right. They're like, bring back Killmonger for who and for what?
Yeah. He tried to get us all killed.
He's trying to wipe out all white folks. Like, what are we talking about? Speaking of gentrified Vision, were you surprised that he was not in this movie?
Well, because if he was in this movie, he would have completely undone the whole entire arc. He'd have been like, "What are you doing? This is dumb. Stop!" And probably would have stopped her like from the get. And so she would have like it would have been a non-issue if Vision was there, right? Because he would have been able to
Right.
talk her out of it. Because he would have been the only one that would have been able to talk her out of it, right?
I agree. Well,
So
but that
like,
Vision was not as, I think, intellectually growth as the other
well,
Vision. I feel like his human experience was lacking.
you could also say that Vision probably doesn't realize he's Vision yet. He's still kind of sorting through his memories. But if he had shown up, he probably like would have somehow reconciled that in some way.
Also, let's be real. How hard would it be if we woke up as a white guy from being a black guy?
Oh,
Yes,
God,
Vision was a black guy, guys. Vision was a black guy. You see how he loved that white woman? That's some black guy love right there. Two,
he loved her for all. Didn't care about any of her flaws.
Vision was wearing Bill Cosby sweater, telling Tony Stark, like, "Hey, once you came on the scene, yeah, all this supernatural violence went up. So
he was like,
that's some real truth talk from my brother."
As soon as I started dating one of my credit score went up 20 points.
Right. They even let me live in a house once I started dating Wanda.
They didn't ask me no questions when I signed this loan. I'm a 3-year-old freaking robot. Yeah, I am able to get a fucking home loan. And fucking the Falcon can't even get a business loan on his parents' boat.
Look here, man.
And they let this robot.
He was purple, not black. You got to remember that. Ang Lee's Hulk or Edward Norton in a fight or the movies? Because in the movie, I'm going Ed Norton. In a fight, I'm actually going to take Ang Lee's Hulk in a fight.
Yeah. Edward Norton's Hulk isn't that bad. It's just the movie's bad. Now, Ang Lee's Hulk, the movie's bad. The graphics are bad. The acting's not bad, but everything else is bad.
Plus, Ang Lee's Hulk, like, he was brutal. People forget, like, he was punching the dogs in the nuts, and like that Joker was a savage. Edward Norton's Hulk was like crying when he fell off the helicopter. He was
emotionally available.
Yeah, he had a lot of suspect moments in his Abomination fight. Yeah, it was real suspect.
I'm sure there's plenty of young 18-year-old girls that would try to fix Edward Norton's Hulk. Like, I could fix it. That's gonna be toxic.
Do you think this movie sets up Doctor Strange as taking over like quasi the Tony Stank role, as I put there, Tony Stank?
I don't know, because I don't feel like there's this, like, especially from our previous view. I mean, Doctor Strange has done shit, but like none of it's really lasted to like really affect the universe like Tony Stark has. Like, Tony Stark's been making weapons for years. You know, he created Ultron, who tried to drop a fucking, city on people. Like, Tony Stark's had a lot of, like a lot of the shit he did had lasting effects where people just seem to kind of forget that Doctor Strange is even there.
Well, I mean, in the sense that, like, he did open up with the spell from Peter Parker, opened up the multiverse even more than what Kang and them did. This movie, obviously, he definitely roughed some shit up to the fact that, like, Cleo at the end is like, "Hey,
yeah, but it's not here. It's not in our. It's not in our MCU. It's in some other MCUs. Who gives a fuck?" I don't give a fuck about them. Is it here? No, who cares?
Also, why Doctor Strange be getting washed so much in both his movies, bro? Like, Doctor Strange is supposed to be the Sorcerer Supreme, and like in the
he's
comics,
not even
like,
the Sorcerer Supreme in this one.
I know, but he be getting washed though. He be getting so washed. Also, side note, the fight in the musical fight in Doctor Strange is probably better than any wizarding fight that's been in Fantastic Beasts, and almost better than every wizarding fight in Harry Potter, except for the Dumbledore and Voldemort one. That's the only fight that was better than that musical fight.
It was actually a creative fight that actually uses the fact that you can, you can almost do anything that you can imagine,
right?
As and use that as a weapon, like using the freaking notes and oh, that was awesome.
Yeah, that
Kind of
was
mad
beautiful.
now. I'm kind of mad now they don't do shit like that in more movies, like,
Or just in Harry Potter, which is built
or just in
literally
Harry
around
Potter. Oh yeah,
magic.
they just basically just have guns in Harry Potter. Pow pow pow. That's all they're doing.
Absolutely. Was the Illuminati, and the people that just joined us, we are doing a spoiler review of Doctor Strange. If you do not like it,
Hope you
come back
seen
in
it.
about
They
5,
all
10
die at
minutes.
the end.
We'll be out of it. Illuminati, was it worth it or not? Having them on screen.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's my final answer.
I don't know. I don't think it was worth it, man. I don't.
I
Again, and I'm biased because how they go out, but it's just like
guess they could have
it,
chosen.
it means nothing because it's not our universe.
Yeah, it's not our universe.
So it meant nothing for me. Like it, and I get it. That's why you do it so you can slaughter them and it have no consequence. But like, I don't know, man. Like, I'm not here.
I probably wouldn't have picked John Krasinski as Reed
It's
Richards.
fantastic.
I like seeing him. I like the fact that Anson Mount, got his job back. He's in other shit that he's in. He's actually pretty good. I like seeing Haley Atwell doing Agent Carter shit.
That was dope. That was dope.
Captain Marvel as Monica Rambeau or take it or leave it. You got to have a black person somewhere, I guess. Should she have died being crushed by a statue? No, she has Captain Marvel powers. She should have been like, oh, that didn't hurt at all.
Or do or they should have done in Prometheus, just roll.
Yeah, or just roll away. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, all right.
Like I it's kind of funny how the most I don't even say Reed Richards is the most powerful, but the most powerful member just gets fucking taken out right away.
Well, probably the smartest member. So
yeah.
And my thoughts process is that they have never battled something like Wanda in their universe. So I think he was overly confident that he should have been.
That he could have dropped her down or something like that. It's like, no,
right.
She's crazy. She's crazy.
Are we tired of seeing Professor X get killed in every fucking movie we see him in now? Are we finally over this shit? Because I'm over it. I don't ever want to see Professor X die again. Like, I never want to see Uncle Ben die again. Has it been twice? Because I feel like it's been like more than twice. It was The Last Stand.
The Last Stand and in Wolverine.
Yep.
Old Man Logan.
Yep. And then what was the one in not Age of Ultron, the one before the Days of Future Past? Him and Magneto take the L in the room.
Oh yeah,
yep, he takes that L. And then we see him in this one. It's 4 times I've seen this Joker die. Like, I'm over it, bro. I am over it. If I never
don't talk about it all the time like they do in Spider-Man. Like, oh, with great power comes Professor X. I don't fucking know.
We're gonna make this Xavier Institute just for the professor, and then rename it to the Jean Grey Institute once he's revived.
Honestly, I feel like this could be the last time we even see Professor X for like 30 years, because is it really that necessary to any cool Marvel stories? Cool X-Men stories? Not really. He's just kind of like he's the white guy in the chair. Like, oh, go over there and be heroes while I stay here safely and not get hurt.
Also, anybody that's watching, if you want to leave a comment, go ahead and put the comment in there. We will try to answer or respond to it as we go through
or make fun of it.
The show. Oh, that too. I guess my last one too is: do you think Wanda survived? Because it was that little last spark at the end when the things caved in.
Let me reverse that. Yeah, she totally survived. She's going to be in the next 95 movies where they make her, an anti-hero again, and they fucking. She's already been a bad guy to good guy, back to bad guy. Like, I'm hoping she's dead. But
right.
They only got but 3 women superheroes in Marvel, so they got to bring her back somehow and make her better.
Well, I feel like also like you've almost made her so powerful that you got to nerf her or keep her a villain. You got to do either one or the other. You can't make her a good guy being that strong anymore. Like, you've pretty much made her almost unbeatable. So,
the fact that she even like let Thanos even win was like, what? Where were you the whole entire time? Like, you could have killed Thanos in 30 seconds, man. Like, not even tried. But nope.
I mean,
Seen it.
because again, black girl magic moment. She goes, "What was she doing up there?" Yes, your most powerful thing should have been on the battlefield, not trying to protect the stone in case she has to destroy it. F out of here, like. Yeah,
Like,
no,
I was hanging out with my boyfriend.
I think they're bringing her back. I mean, I think Elizabeth Olsen is too beloved, and even if they did initially want to write her out, I think because of this performance and how people really like praised her about how good she was in this movie, that they're going to find a way to write her back in. I wouldn't be surprised if it's some kind of amnesia-esque thing where you can kind of depower her. Yeah, you can kind of depower her for a bunch of movies because she doesn't know how strong she is, and then you know,
if you commit a crime and you don't remember, you still go to jail for it.
But in the words of Jason, wasn't nobody gonna stop Wanda? When I say you, when I say at the end of WandaVision, she don't even try to like turn herself in. And you was like, who's gonna stop her? And I'm like,
let her go.
She should stop herself.
I'm glad America, here, so let her go.
I'm glad America Chavez do realize my point. The only thing that can stop Wanda is another Wanda. So go let her fight herself and let it be over.
Also, America Chavez did what Batman would have done, which was slap a bitch in the face.
Yes. Mentally ill, punch a bitch in the face.
Yeah, punch that bitch in the face.
Two-Face got split personality disorder. Punch a dude in the face.
I'm sorry, Riddler, who is probably on the autistic spectrum. Does that make it better? Yeah, well, are you curious?
Also, we discussed this, guys. And baby, I got a text in the line. Would Batman been able to stop Wanda with preparation time? Like if he knew she was going psychotic, would he have had a plan to stop her, like a protocol to stop her? Now, I remember it was in the Xavier protocols. Didn't Xavier have a protocol for Scarlet Witch? If I remember,
I don't recall if he had one or not.
I can't recall. I
know that Batman had a plan for everybody in the fucking Justice League.
Yes, so, he
did. He would have had a plan for Wanda. Whether or not he would have, carried it out, or if she would have caught him or whatever. I honestly think that Batman he's the Ubermensch because that's the way they write him. So he beats anybody because that's the way he's been written for the last 80 years. So he would have beat Wanda just by simply punching her in the face. Because if you think about it, Wanda's just a woman, right?
Yes,
she's got all the magical powers, but like beyond that, she's just a normal human being. So if you get in close, one little good chin kiss, she's done.
Oh yeah, I mean, or you aim for the head, shoot blow her brains out, it's over. But again, a lot harder, easier said than done. Let's just be completely honest here.
I mean, if anybody could do it, it could be Batman.
But Batman doesn't believe in using guns, remember? So, no hands. I agree, Jaden. All right, you got anything left that you want to talk about spoiler-wise for Doctor Strange? 2, Multiverse.
What the hell is Thea?
Oh, I don't know. I think she was married to Doctor Strange at one time, and
probably
they divorced, and she's supposed to be like Dormammu's like niece or something.
Yeah, they're pulling like characters from like they're scraping the bottom here, and they still can't find no black people.
Yeah, what happened to like damn, I can't now I'm ashamed because I can't think of his name. Like, and because he's black, like the voodoo dude that used to roll with Doctor Strange. That was a brother, not Mordo, but it was another dude that used to roll with Doctor Strange. Was a voodoo cat. Like, you can't give him some run
I have
on this?
The whole internet. Brother Voodoo?
Yes,
Brother Voodoo. Jericho Drum. That's the guy. Yeah.
Yeah, like how come he can't get no shine? How come he can't bust through the multiverse and be like, hey,
we know each other.
We gotta get you up out of here.
Oh, they already have Barramundo being black, so they can't,
yeah, well, we know that the rule.
And we got Wong in there. Yeah. You put one more black.
You get more than two, it's a gang. Yeah, it's a gang at that point. So yeah, you can't do that.
He got pulled over on the way to the set.
Can't have people out here magically jacking fools. With that being said, a couple desperately to try to hide their daughter Charlie from a shadowy federal agency that wants to harness her unprecedented gift for turning fire into a weapon of mass destruction. Her father taught her how to diffuse her power, but as Charlie turns 11, the fire becomes harder and harder to control. When a mysterious operative finally finds the family, he tries to seize Charlie once and for all. But she has other plans. If this is your first time watching this, before we jump right into our review, we try to give you a one-sentence review of the movie. And the movie I just gave you the summary to was Firestarter, which is in theaters, but also on Peacock, and a remake of, remake of a 1982, I believe, movie, or 84 movie, Firestarter, starring Drew Barrymore, which nobody cares about based off a Stephen King book. But yes, Jason, what is your one-sentence review of Firestarter?
Where's Drew Barrymore when we need her?
My one-sentence review is, I wish I could start a fire behind my eyes and burn away my eyeballs so I never have to watch this movie again. Look, man, I'm gonna jump right into it because I'm the resident horror guy, and y'all know I give a lot of passes to horror movies.
Is this even a horror movie?
That's the first problem. 2, look, man, this movie is trash-tastic. This is a dumpster fire. This movie's terrible. And you know what the most terrible thing is in this movie? The most terrible thing in this movie is that I don't even care that she can light things on fire, which is the whole premise of this movie. Like, it was like, oh, people are bullying her. Why don't you guys stop it as grown adult teachers? But then you're mad that she's lighting things on fire. Oh, she's torching kids like animals to train her. What are we doing here? Like, what is the point of this movie? Why did we remake this movie? You know, I remember the old school Firestarter because I'm a horror guy and I used to watch this stuff. Why is it better effects in the 1980s Firestarter movie? Like, actually, like they had like real fireballs being shot at people. Yeah, than this crap here that we got. This movie, like, I wouldn't wish this movie on my worst enemy. Like, it's slow, it's paced poorly, the acting's trash. Even Zac Efron, like, you remember I was talking about how in Red Notice, how The Rock was like uncharismatic in that movie, and I felt like that's a hard task to do, make one of the most charismatic people not charismatic. Well, I feel like I got another topper because somehow this movie did it to Zac Efron. Zac Efron, I was like, Zac Efron's in this movie? And I'm like, I couldn't tell after 30 minutes because he just did nothing but emote and bleed from his eyes. Jesus Christ, this movie's terrible. And like, yes, Halloween Kills is a terrible movie, but it's so campy and bombastically bad, I can just go over the top with it. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, same thing. It's so bombastically bad that it just goes over the top where I can enjoy it. This movie never even attempts to just go psychopathically over the top where I can be like, oh, this is pretty cool because she is destroying everything. And this is awesome. No, never happens. Like, I was waiting for this movie to have like a Carrie-esque scene where Carrie's at the prom and she just lets her powers go bananas. I was waiting for it in this movie. Nope, never really happens. I don't know what this is for. I don't know who this is for. It isn't no huge fan base for Firestarter. So it wasn't like, oh, we're going to give y'all an updated version of this thing because we know the street's been waiting for it. No, ain't nobody want this. This has been stepped on. This is
why it was on Peacock.
I just don't know who this is for, and I don't know what the point of this was supposed to be. Like, I don't know what they were trying to accomplish with this movie except for just pissing me off. Like, I think well, you know what? They accomplished that. So let me give them a kudos for that. You pissed Jason off by making this shitty movie that I had to sit down and review and was like, oh, all right, I guess she just has fire powers and they're on the run now. I'd rather they just been on the run and she never had any powers to begin with and called this Runner. And I'd have been perfectly fine with this movie and it still would have sucked. At least it just didn't trample on the horror trope. Yeah, that's all I got for this movie. Like, as you can see, you see my dislike and distaste of
your
this.
Your blood pressure's up, man.
yeah.
I'm down now.
I'm down. I gotta drink some water and wipe my forehead off after this bullshit. Jason,
go get an orange slice.
Fire. Yeah.
There are two things I like about this movie, and it's just two.
The credits.
I like the credits. I like the fact that you could possibly make a more serious like genre film with people with powers in it, and I'm sure there's plenty of people, movies have done. But I would think that this would be cool in like the X-Men universe or something like that, where someone would. And that's the thing I like about this movie is the fact that it would be cool if this was a different movie. I kind of also like the fact that the bad guys were really just like they were going about it the wrong way. They were just like, yo, we gotta like actually kind of control this bitch because if we don't, like, she could just kill us all. That's not cool. But after that, I was like, yeah, this is boring as hell. Like, ain't no really cool kills. It just kind of meanders all the way up to the end. And then it's just like I kind of felt sorry for the people that she was killing at the end. I was like, yo, they just doing their job. They just trying to help
Right.
people out. And there's this one part, and it's like, like way to like completely undermine the character that you're trying to present without really like because they try to present her as someone who has his powers, who's trying to control it. She's just a little girl and is unable to control it. Um, and trying to be compassionate, saying, I don't want to hurt people. And then at the end, even though her dad kind of mind controls it, at the end, she's just like, everybody's like, yo, I'm not a part of it. She's like, I don't give a fuck. Boom, you're dead. you
Right.
know,
Right.
oh, y'all trying to help me? Nah, fuck y'all. Y'all dead. It's like at the end, it's like she's just a straight villain, and it's like, where did that even come from? I don't even. Either way, I don't care. It's just like at the end of this, I was like, I don't care. I don't care that she hangs out with her. Spoiler: she gets up, freeing the guy that killed her mom, and is like starts hanging out with him for some reason because she decides to spare him, even though he's totally a part of this thing that literally killed her mom, like violently. But there's no like really crazy like egregious things where it's like I don't believe why this is happening. It's just like it's so mundanely treated that it's like you watch this thing, you're just like, oh, I guess that was a movie about stuff. And he's like, I guess there was a story here. I don't know what it was, but I guess there was one. But also, the fucking teachers are just terrible. Like, yo, like
Y'all
obviously
were
the
just
kids get
getting
made fun of. Like,
right.
I don't know.
Right.
Like when I was a kid, you could you make fun of a kid in front of the teacher, they send you to the principal's office, right? You don't just sit there and look at them like they called her a freak, like in front of like four teachers, and like, why are you running off, you little freak? What the fuck? Like, way to have a thick skin. It was like
They're,
y'all supposed to
they're
be like,
calling me a freak. Stop snitching. Go back and play.
and then they get mad at her for like blowing up the fucking bathroom or whatever. And it's like, yo, obviously she's being bullied.
Oh my
Like, y'all
god!
should
And
do something about that.
that part drove me insane. What 11-year-old
It's
year old is making combustible items in the bathroom of the girl's bathroom? Like the first thing I would have thought was like, oh, they're gonna probably think it's like some kind of gas leak or something.
yeah.
No, they're like, no, I don't know what material she had in there to do. What are you talking about? Material like
It's just
look,
like I hate when in movies when you see shit that, they're supposed to present to you as real life and it just completely defies like actual life because we've all been to school. Like, yeah, like probably in the 90s, you probably could have got most of the time when you got away with someone bullying you is because there weren't teachers around, right? That's why you got bullied because there ain't no teachers around. You didn't get bullied in front of the teacher. The teacher would say something,
mhm.
you know, they would know that you're getting bullied or whatever. And it's like stuff like that just kind of just makes me angry because it's like it doesn't require the best writer in the world to write something that actually happens correctly.
Look,
It
the
is like the
movie
only reason they wrote
industry
this is was to be like, oh, she's getting bullied. That's why she can't control her powers or whatever. And it's like, stop, just stop.
I'm gonna tell you this: the movie industry single-handedly is the reason why teachers don't get raises. Every movie you're in, the teachers are abominations. In almost
Yeah,
every
they're the
movie you
worst.
want to watch, they're terrible. That is why they will never approve teachers getting more money because the movie industry has made them seem completely incompetent and unfit to take care of watch kids at all. Like,
At all. They're just like the worst. They're either like, just mean, horrible people, or they're inattentive, or they're touching the kids. What like that's the only that's like all they have to say about teachers in the movies. But yeah, this movie, there's a reason why it's on Peacock. Uh, I felt sorry for anybody who actually went to the theater to go see this and spent money. I would ask for my money back, and I got it for
mm.
free. So
Can we just get a prequel for like Combustion Man and Pi Lee? Just get a prequel for them too. I want to see people just kinetically blow shit up. I'd rather have them two get a prequel, and I'll just roll with that. With that being said, Jason, what would you rate Firestarter 2022?
0 out of 5. Don't care. Don't even watch it.
Yeah, yeah. I literally, guys, and I always find a bright side to something in a horror movie or in the genre. I have nothing. It was no cool kills. It was no cool like effects.
Just
It
all of
was
it
no
just made me
moment in
sad.
there. Yeah, yeah. Like, and it's even filmed like it's like a diaper dour, serious movie, like serious drama set in New Hampshire or somewhere. Like, it's filmed like that. Like, man, this is trash, man. This is butt cheeks. Like,
It's not.
don't even. Yeah, no, not at all. Yeah, I don't know how much I can unrecommend this movie for anybody who plans on seeing this movie.
Do you like
Alice yearns
movies?
for
Don't
freedom
watch this one.
as Alice yearns for freedom as an enslaved woman under iron rule by the brutal owner of a rural Georgia plantation. After a violent clash, she flees through the neighboring woods and stumbles onto the unfamiliar sight of a highway. Soon discovering the year is actually 1973, rescued on the roadside by a disillusioned political activist, Alice quickly comprehends the lies that have kept her in bondage. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the summary for Alice. This is a movie that hit limited theaters earlier this year, but it's on the video on demand. And I know we wanted to review it when it was in theaters, but we did not. So we waited till I got on demand to do this. Now, with that being said, Jason, what is your one sentence review for Alice?
Man, I hate white people.
No further explanation needed on that. My one sentence review for Alice is Alice wandered her way out of slavery and landed to a common revenge flick. Is my sentence review for that. Jason, I'll let you go ahead and get started. What did you think of Alice?
It's not even a common revenge flick because in like revenge flicks, you have like, a setup to the revenge where they make a plan and they like, do small things in order to like build up to their final revenge. Like in the Northman, where he does a lot of crazy shit before he gets to the final battle. This one is she's a slave, she's not a slave, and then she goes back and frees her friends at the end, and there's not really much in between. Kiki Palmer though is awesome. She's great in this movie, but it just for something that's like based on a true story or several true stories. Um, yeah, like I just rather read the article about what actually happened rather than watch this movie. Honestly, because like it was. I wouldn't say it was cool. It was heartbreaking to see the whole everybody in fucking slave shit. And it was cool that she gets out and she's in 1978, and that's kind of like a cool premise. But then it's like she does nothing but read books until the end. And it's like there's and I mean there's some cool like references to like 70s movies and cool like references to things that are happening in the 70s at the time. And there's a lot of cool stuff like that. There's a lot of cool references to like actual civil rights leaders like Fred Johnson and Malcolm X and people who are not with us today because of white supremacy and this country being the bad place. But like I wanted there just to be like more to her getting to the point where she can get revenge. And it was like it just feels like that second half of that movie. It's just like there's not really much of a story there. And then she goes and she gets revenge, and it's like there's not even like an obstacle. It's barely an inconvenience for her to go back and take out her revenge on this slave master. And it works perfectly. It ends up everything working out for her. And the only thing that I really, really enjoyed in this movie is when she confronted the slave master's ex-wife, who was just living in her life as like, oh, my ex-husband. Like, firstly, I've never been divorced, but I know people who have been divorced. And that would have been the first thing that motherfuckers would have brought up in the divorce. Oh, he keeping slaves. Can I get full custody? He got actual slaves, and I need full custody of my kid, like right now. But she don't do nothing like that. But I did like the part where Alice confronts her about it, even though she doesn't really do anything to her, she just talks at her, and That's good. That was entertaining. The last like sort of soliloquy she does to her slave master was really interesting and really poignant for this time because she's really just kind of talking to the camera about things that are happening now rather than actually in the movie. But other than that, it's just like she's a slave. She's not a slave. I'm gonna go back and free my slaves, and that's it. It's not. There's nothing else there, and it's like I really wanted there to be like more to it. Um, yeah, that's my review. Go ahead, Jason.
Man, like I'm enjoying this episode because I disagree. I feel like, yes, I understand. You wanted some more depth of character and depth of sophisticated, like, plotting of revenge. I don't think the movie's about the revenge or the get back aspect. I think the movie's all about the culture, the mindset, and what it truly means to be free. And I feel like that is something that they hit on the nose very, very poignantly. So even when they're in that plantation, not knowing that it's no outside world, you get that feel of like how some are like, nah, we should try to get out of here. We should do it. And some of them are like, nah, just be cool. We good here. We
That's
living. We do
definitely a
this. Like,
theme. Be cool.
yeah, it was like, yeah. It's like we are living here was good. We like almost like it was almost like they were gracious for being able to live as a slave. And some of them weren't like cool with that. And we have attempts that way. Well, then she gets free. She gets free, and then you get, she gets stopped, luckily enough, by like the most historically rich
Solid.
black person, right, in the world. And he just has all this stuff laying around his house that she can learn from. Good for her, lucky for her. But then you have that whole situation about him like, nah, you don't want to go to that nice place. That nice place ain't a nice place for us. Like, but in her mind, because of the bond that she had been in, a nice place is
She
freedom
would
to
have
her
been fine.
because it's better. Yeah, better than what she had before. But he doesn't see it that way. Even Common's character being under the thumb under his brother, which they very hit and allude to that he's a straight up Republican with the Nixon sign in the back, and he's about capitalism and like they're
Them
stealing.
people.
Yeah,
For them
yeah.
stealing
Like
them
they're
blackberries.
stealing. You got to go get. And it's like Common's not truly free, and his ideology of being free to her is a great luxury, but to him, it feels like being captured. The point I thought was very poignant here is, like you said, she just read a bunch of books and did this. Like, it kind of even gives the message that if you educate yourself and you allow yourself to have the tools, you too can get freedom, but also free the people around you from whatever quote unquote was the bondage of here. And I remember even watching this movie. In that point, my daughters are like saying, like you said, like she's going to a library, and I'm like, knowledge is the most powerful thing you can have. Like, if you know the rules to the game and you know how to go around them, it's the biggest thing you can get. So I like that message of a situation of her understanding that the only way I can accomplish this or be better than is if I get myself filled with knowledge to be able to make this move. The most powerful moment in this whole movie is when she finds out about the Emancipation of Proclamation, and she finds out that they've all been free for forever,
For like
and it
100
just
years at that
never.
point.
Right. And then all her family just been just servitude, slaves, excuse me, domestics, as they called them. Domestics. And it's like that, yeah, granted, the one in the diner was very popular, but that moment of just like that cry, and like you said, Keke Palmer does a great job. You can feel it in her performance of the sorrow, but joy of the freedom she realized that like her people have gotten. But it's almost still sorrow because she understands that they're still on that plantation, even though she understands they don't belong there anymore. But then she's still happy that like they don't have to do what they were doing before. And I thought it was also a great moment too when she's planning the revenge, and Common's like, "Well, you can do whatever you want. You don't got a birth certificate, a social security card. You could be do again, it's this whole thing. Like I said, this whole theme of this movie was about what does freedom really, truly effing mean? Common's stuck in the system. Is he no more a slave than what they are? Because he at one point thought he was fighting for something to get our people more free. And when he goes, nah, the same thing that always happens. They killed our leaders, they blah 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 blah. So like he's almost given into the servitude of the oppression. And like she's like, nah, bro, like if you believe you can get the fuck up out of here, you got to go, because she came from a situation where she always believed she can get freedom. I don't know. I thought it was very layered, but I thought also that's why the story was so simplistic in my mind, because I think they didn't want to get in the way of these kind of messages that I thought I was pulling from this movie. Yes, was it barely inconvenience? But you know what? At the end of the day, let's be 100%. This movie basically showed there was only one dude with a gun that was controlling all of them. So they had two guys with a gun versus one guy with a gun. Who do you think win it? Exactly. Like, they make that very established that it was one guy with a gun. Like, they make it very well known in the very first escape attempt that it was one dude with a gun. The only part of the movie that I hated, that I was like, oh, I wish they didn't do it, is when they show where the lighter came from. I hated that part. It drove me insane. I was like, I don't need that scene.
And it also doesn't make any sense, that dude jumping there knowing that these guys are still slaves.
Well, no, I think they killed them.
Yeah, and then they killed him. But he's like, because the way he like hands it to the dude, he kind of like, it's a lighter. You know? Like it kind of seems like he knew that dude was like a slave.
I didn't think about that. Yeah.
It confuses me. That's what it confused me, because I'm like, I wouldn't have jumped in there. I would have, not by myself at least.
Or like, what was the guy jumping from? What was it? Because I'm thinking he was part of some armed forces. Like, they would know where he fell.
Well, I'm assuming that they're down because from the landscape and the setting that they're in. I'm assuming they're in South Georgia, somewhere around Savannah. Because that's around Savannah. There's like a lot of rural areas right there, and there's a lot of naval bases, a lot of Air Force bases down in that area. So that probably could have been on the training jump. I don't know what he's jumping from, but I would not.
That nobody followed up. That nobody was like, "Hey, he fell in this area. We should go check this out." Like,
well, he also black in like the 30s or whatever. So they were like, "Oh, we lost one."
One less Negro. Who else wants to jump? Who's next?
Now we get rid of 30 more million of them, man. We be good.
Just a slow way to get them out of here. Yes. So yeah, that's why I wasn't bothered by the little inconvenience, because again, they made it known there was only one Joker with a strap. But the other part of it I thought was just weird is like, when he was having that sermon in church, it seemed like there was a lot of white folks there. That it was a whole community of these.
I think there's still a whole community of motherfuckers that have slaves. Which is, I mean, it's the 70s, so I guess they could get away with it. But like, I don't get, like, obviously the kid is going to school in like normal school, and which poor Daniel. I mean, he racist as fuck too.
100%.
But you ain't gonna be at school like, yo, my daddy keeping slaves. It's kind of, because like, I can't keep, my kid's 13. I can't keep his mouth shut. You know about shit going on in my house. Like,
yeah, but it's the 70s. He's with a whole bunch of white folks. They're like, ha ha ha. You mean your black nanny's a slave? Good one, Daniel. Good one.
I guess, like, for me, I guess it's a cynical part of me. I was expecting there to like be like a more systematic obstacle to her gaining her family's freedom. Like, oh, she went to the cops, and the cops were like, okay, you know, or, you know, something like that. Like, or she had to go to like find actual allies besides the one black dude she knew.
Well, and I'm with you. I thought, like, my thought was that Common was going to reach out to his Black Panther ties and be like, hey, we got to
get a posse together, and then we get a fucking cathartic one where everybody gets shot.
I did agree with that. I did think that as well, but they were like, it's only one dude with a gun. You got a shotgun and a handgun. We can handle this. Like,
also, like, even when the cops show up, I felt like, I guess, as I said, I guess like the cynical of me, who's like, they would have showed up, seen this dude who's been bleeding, this white dude bleeding, all these black folks standing around, like, all right, all y'all need to go ahead and get in the car. Like, we take y'all down. Like, what? We were held as slaves. Like, okay, yeah, it's 1978. Get the fucking car. Y'all out here trying to rob myself. Y'all out here trying to rob this young man here, nice young man, this nice, beautiful. They're gonna have weddings at that house eventually.
Oh, 100%, 100%. No, I mean, again, like I said, I was here for it. I thought it was more enjoyable than I expected, especially when I found that I guess Kiki Palmer actually executive produced this one too. So that was pretty dope for her to kind of get her name and behind those credits of that one too. I think this got me excited for Nope, though. I will say that.
Yes.
Like, watching her performing this got me way excited for Nope. So
I mean, like this whole entire movie is like hung upon her shoulders, with the exception of a few scenes with her husband where he's doing all the stuff. But like,
Hmm.
I'm not gonna spoil what happens to him, but it's nothing. Nothing happens to him.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, Jason, if you had to give Alice a rating, what would it be?
I would give it a 3.5 out of 5. You know,
3.5 out of
it's
5.
not. I told Jaren and Alex to be quiet for an hour, so it didn't make me as angry as 12 Years a Slave did. But dude, reading the actual some of the actual stories that this was based on, whew.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I think it was in Mississippi, wasn't it? If I'm correct, it was in Mississippi,
Yeah,
not Georgia. Yeah,
yeah. It was like in the 60s where this lady finally finds out that she like 1960, y'all. This lady, well, this lady's not alive anymore, but her kids are. So think about
yeah.
that.
That if it's any argument for reparations, that family
Yeah.
definitely should be like first in line. Like,
Like, where
fuck
is
that.
our check or
Right.
my mule and my 40 acres? I know y'all got it out there.
Right, right. Yeah, I would give this one. I'm gonna give it a 3, man. I enjoyed it, and it's not that long. I think it's like an hour and 40 something minutes. So it's actually,
It's
and when
pretty
I say
short.
it's not that long, it's like compared to the movies now, and everything's like 2 hours and 30 minutes, an hour and 46 minutes. I'm like, oh great, woo, over before I
everything's
started getting settled in.
everything's a 4 hour movie with like 3 sequels that are also 4 hours.
Right, right.
You have to write that you have to watch in order to get what actually happened in the beginning.
100%, 100%. So, with that all being said, again, I say Alice, I give it a thumbs up. Go check it out. If you hate it, then just say the other Jason said check it out, not me. Um,
I'll come for it. I'm right here. Y'all need. I'll take the smoke. I'm standing right. I'm sitting actually right here. I don't give a fuck.
the Top Gun Naval Fighter Weapons School is where the best of the best train to refine the elite flying skills. When hotshot fighter pilot Maverick is sent to the school, his reckless attitude and cocky demeanor put him at odds with the other pilots, especially the cool and collected Iceman. But Maverick isn't only competing to be the top fighter pilot, he's also fighting for the attention of his beautiful flight instructor. That, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know that, from the word Maverick and Iceman, that is the summary for 19, insert the end numbers, Top Gun. We reviewed Top Gun again because next week or this weekend, Top Gun Maverick's going to come out and we're going to review that. So, Jason, what is a one sentence review of Top Gun OG?
Please do not take this the wrong way, everybody. But my one sentence review, like I mean this with all kindness and love in my heart. This movie is so gay.
My one sentence review of Top Gun is this movie sucks. I'm gonna get started. I've been saying for years Top Gun's overrated. I get it, guys. It's 80s, it's nostalgia. The songs are banging, and I'll give it that. The songs are
The
banging.
3 songs they used.
Yeah. The songs are banging. I get it. I love it too. I just I just cannot put up with the fact that this movie is about literally nothing. And at the end, it's like, oh, some people invaded this airspace, and now we gotta take them down. Like, it's about nothing. Goose's death is pretty much like it doesn't do anything because it isn't quote unquote his fault. Now you can make an argument about maybe he was too overzealous, but at the end of the day, like the machinery failed them.
Yeah.
So what lesson was it really to be learned from this? And I get it, he's heartbroken because his partner died, and I get that. Respect the grief. But it was no lesson to be learned here. It'd be different if Maverick's foolishness caused the death, and it was like, oh, he had to learn a bigger lesson about like this is what can happen. Because the whole time they keep saying, "Oh yeah, we're about to get into that, Rufus. Don't worry.
we about to get into this.
We're gonna get into that heavily." But it's like it's terrible. And also, here's the biggest sin of this movie: and I think it's the trend with all today's stuff is that Tom Cruise is probably one of the most charismatic guys to ever be on film. How in the hell do you make a whole movie where he's the least charismatic
He's
guy
the
in
least
the whole
likable
film?
motherfucker.
Yeah. Like, at no point was I rooting for Maverick. At every point, I was like, man, that Iceman dude has it together. And I wonder why he fucking hates Maverick, because Maverick fucking sucks balls. Like, hey, I just, and look, and guys, I'm not doing this reactionary. I felt this way about Top Gun for a while. So when Jason was like, oh, we need to review this, I was like, yes, because I need to get my opinions out about this. Yes, Rufus, the black guy on this called Sundown. But not even that. Not even is the black guy on this thing called Sundown. The worst part about it is like the black guy really only got like one line. And it's like, why didn't you take the shot? And then you get chumped up by like 5'1" Tom Cruise. Black dude should have like, motherfucker, I'm from Brooklyn. I'm from Detroit. I'm from Chicago. I will knock your little ass out. Don't touch me again. But no, black dude just took it and was like, oh my goodness, I got told out.
Especially like you guys are fighter pilots, man. You guys are like the criminal. You guys are like air jocks, man. He would have not taken that shit. He would have been like, oh no, he didn't. Like, where Tyrone? Right. You about to jump his ass.
And like, look, guys, and I know a lot of, and that's one of our friends made the thing like, oh, well, 80s movies and black people. I get it, but you know what? We have a long history as black folks to find like that one character in the movie we like that like didn't just get chumped out, but was a black dude and was like, damn, oh man, you did a good job out there, Maverick. And we'd be like, oh, what's that dude's name? Oh, his name is Charles B. Hayes the 25th. Oh, that's my dude in Top Gun.
Like hot chocolate.
right. We have a history for 80s movies going through and finding the one black dude and we rally with him. Like we were talking the other day, like Goldie from fucking Back to the Future becomes mayor. Like, yes, you know why I remember Goldie from Back to the Future? Because he was like the only black dude in there. And I was like, oh, the black dude with the gold tooth. Yeah, like that joker became mayor, got elected twice. Then you know how hard it is to have a gold tooth and get elected twice by white folks? Goldie the man.
It's impossible. But he must have been like, right. I'm giving away tax money. Right. I'm get this check.
A lot of fraud going on there. But the point is, it's just like, look, I get it, guys. Whiteness is going to prevail a lot on this Top Gun conversation. And I get it. White people, y'all love Top Gun because y'all love playing volleyball in the sand with your shirt off. Y'all all wish I could drive fighter pilots up for fighter planes. Y'all wish you had, motorcycles like Maverick. And like, I get it all. I understand. I'm just letting you know, for me, and when I first saw this movie and everybody had hyped it up so much, I was like, nah, man, this ain't it. Like this movie, and I don't even want to get started on Dirty Dancing. One day we'll have a conversation about that trash of a movie. And that movie's a trash just because the premise of how they even have to do the Dirty Dancing is so jacked up that nobody wants to remember that this Joker was like telling the chick, get an abortion. Anyway, I'm on subject.
15, he's supposed to be like 26 too.
Yeah. The point of is that this is a trash movie, man. And I'm sad that, like, when I say this, I'm probably gonna get the most hate that I ever get because people just love this movie because of the 80s nostalgia. But you see, this is the problem. If I were to take that same attitude and be like, oh, it's a good movie because it's the 80s and put it through a lot of other stuff, people would be like, no, that movie's still trash. And I'm like, yes, because this movie's trash. Just say I enjoyed the 3 songs. Just say, look, I enjoyed the quasi fake ass love story that literally was like, I'm an instructor, I can't date you. And then he comes over and is like, can I take a shower at your place? And she's like, okay. And then he like sits down and talks and he goes, oh yeah, I still got to take that shower. And it was like, now we're in love. We got to keep it a secret. What? He didn't even take her on a date. Like, what do we? This movie's trash, bro. It's trash. All right, that's it. I'm sorry. I'm done. I'm over. My blood pressure's been too up this show.
If you see the love story as him needing to find a woman so that he can masquerade as being straight, it becomes a lot more interesting.
So hold on, they Batwoman, the girl in here.
Yeah.
Hey, let's make this character called Batwoman so Batman and Robin don't seem as gay.
Yeah. Because the memes about this movie are, I haven't watched this since the 80s, and so like a lot. But this is dripping with homoerotic subtext here. Like the very first scene where he's even with a lot of pilots. It's great. It's great. Like, yeah. But like all the shots, this is definitely not made for straight people because this and it's completely misogynistic towards the woman who is a trained instructor who he treats like dirt the whole entire time. Like he knows more than her, even though she's his instructor. Honestly, like Maverick's the villain in this piece. So he's definitely the
Yes,
bad guy here.
100%.
Iceman was 100% right. You guys are supposed to be, fighter pilots. You're supposed to protect each other and not, chase after the bad guys, or whatever. Yeah, a lot of this movie doesn't make any damn sense. Uh, especially at the end when they're, engaging in air-to-air combat with, I would assume either Russians or North Koreans or Chinese or whatever, because them firing upon you that's war. You guys are in war
Mm-hmm.
now. You guys are doing
Mm-hmm.
war, and at the end they're all cheering that they blew up all the MiGs. Like, no, they're gonna come back with like 100 more MiGs and like invade and shit. You guys in World War III, like. So it's like the end is like completely like sappy. Like I guess they needed something for them to fight for Maverick to get over his PTSD of losing his friend that he wouldn't have lost if he was just a better pilot and not such an asshole all the time. But Meg Ryan is in this. She's hot.
Yeah, very much so. Yep.
Yeah. The volleyball scene makes like I'm watching this shit with my son, and he's like, "Why is this scene here?" And I'm like, "Because it's gay, man. This is like
it's gay.
this is fine, men on men love, man. This is PG homosexuality right here. You enjoy. That's the only reason why this is here, because there's no reason for that scene to be there other than the fact because it doesn't show anything about the characters. It doesn't have the story. It's just a bunch of buff men, oiled up, foul kilmer with their shirts off, except for Goose, who was wearing a shirt, because who wants to see Goose naked anyway? Not me.
No.
Playing volleyball, and I'm here for it. I'm like, oh, yeah, this shit's gay. That's the only redeeming quality of this movie, is that I guess Tony Scott, rest his soul, was like looking at the screenplay and was like, I can make this gayer, and like no one in the 80s will know, and eventually somebody will be like, thank you, Tony Scott, and like
some movie took me out of the closet.
Yeah. Because that's the only reason I can say that this movie has any merit whatsoever. And you're right, Jason. The aerial combat scenes are cool because they were actually done by the Navy and stuff like that. But you can tell that like they're not doing the things that they're saying they're doing in the scene.
I'm like you. I give it a pass. I give it a pass to the era and the technology. So
yeah.
Yes,
they're just
right.
flying
it's
around.
Footage. Yeah, it's stock footage.
But hopefully, you know what? I have no expectation for this 35-year sequel. I do not care whatsoever. It could be good. It could be bad. Either way, I will not be disappointed because I don't care. And the fact that this is one of Tom Cruise's most famous movies is laughable. It is, every last one of the Mission Impossible is better than this.
Fact.
Even the bad,
even two. Yeah, even two.
even two. I would even take Cocktails over this.
Oh, Cocktails way better than this. Risky Business is out of
Risky
this world
Business
better than this.
Like, shoot, I will even take Eyes Wide Shut over this. Or what's a shitty Tom Cruise movie? I would take just listening to him in the Scientology, him tell me about Katie Holmes over this. All right.
All right, Vanilla Sky or Top Gun?
Vanilla Sky, easy, hands down.
What was it? Steel Magnolias, wasn't it?
Steel Magnolias, hands down, easy.
Tropic Thunder. What's Top Gun?
Tropic Thunder with the blackface. All day, every day. I would probably take Tropic Thunder with a lot of movies. Honestly.
Oh, that's true. That is very true. Trying to think of other Tom Cruise vehicles that we could talk about. Oh, Jack Reacher 1.
Jack Reacher 1 was tight. Jack Reacher 2.
I like Jack Reacher 2 way better. I didn't like Jack Reacher 1 that much.
I like Jack Reacher 1 more. He was a
We
little
already
more.
know Edge of Tomorrow is way better than this, so
Yeah,
we're not gonna worry about that at
and
all.
tomorrow he
Oh,
might as well win a what?
Oblivion or Top Gun.
Oh, the Scientology movie, Scientology the movie, Oblivion. Like they had great. Like honestly, Top Gun is not good. It is not good. It's just like just things happen, and then like, oh, it's the end. Here you go. It's and like, no,
Yeah, and I need people to understand this isn't some kind of well, that's because you guys looking at it in 2022. Like, no, again, I'm on record saying this back in the day that this movie was trash, and I didn't get why everybody was telling me I needed to rush to see this because unlike everybody else, I didn't grow up with like the whiteness movies in my household, so I didn't see Top Gun. So I like went to college, like I was a grown ass man.
There's a
It's
videotape
like,
of Jason at 6 years old going, "Man, Top Gun is trash."
right? Oh, I got a hard one for you. The Mummy. What's Top Gun?
Oh fuck! Oh jeez. The Mummy because it has Russell Crowe in it, and Russell Crowe is always good for at least a fight.
Okay. No, I already figured like I know the answer to that, but I'll ask you, War of the Worlds or
Oh, War of the
Top
Worlds
Gun?
is fun. I like War of the Worlds.
Again, I know. That's why I said I know the answer to it. Oh, here's a good one. Night and Day, that movie he did with Cameron Diaz, or Top Gun.
Who is more dislikable, Maverick or Knight? Oh, jeez, that's where you got to draw the line. It's like who's the more dislikable person? I'm still pulling Night and Day off over Top Gun because it's just like there ain't nothing. There's nothing in the movie. There's nothing.
Legend or Top Gun.
Legend is a classic. With
people crap on Legend.
With freaking what's his face as the devil. It's a classic. Y'all didn't watch the right one.
yeah. People crap on Legend a lot, which I don't understand the hate. Tim Curry is
Tim Curry. That's what I was
saying. The devil.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's actually wheelchair.
You said he's in a wheelchair now.
Yeah, he's wheelchair bound now. He had a stroke.
Oh wow.
But he can only do voice acting now.
Man, prayers go up to Tim Curry, man. He's damn good at voice acting too. So.
Yeah. So he can't do that.
We already know Last Samurai is way better. We already know Minority Report is way better. Collateral is way better.
Collateral,
like some of these, yeah.
This is his worst.
Okay.
Let's just go ahead. This is his worst movie.
What
and
about
I'm sure
Days,
probably
Days of Thunder is better than this.
This is his worst movie. Let's just throw this out there. This is peak Tom Cruise. Poor Tom Cruise.
Yeah. Well, hope you guys enjoyed how we just shitted on Top Gun for about 20 minutes. We'll end off here. We'll end off here. Jason, what do you rate Top Gun?
1 out of 5, because I'm sure some kid's gonna realize they have feelings for men and be a better person because of it.
I'm gonna give it a 1. That's a lot higher than I gave Firestarter, which was a 0. So I feel like that's improvement. That is definitely improvement. All right, guys. It is that time of the show that everybody loves. We did it again, man. We keep coming back stronger, better. And to reference Top Gun, we keep coming back stronger and harder.
A little bit. You know how many shower scenes are in this movie? Like there is so many scenes where just Tom Cruise and other people are just in their underwear, and it's like, why is this scene like?
Even going further, it's shower scenes, but then it's even just scenes where they just got out the shower, or scenes where they're about to get in the shower, and it's just whole scenes where they're just talking in a towel with no shirt on, just having conversations, and it's like, God damn, can't y'all like walk outside? Man, F that movie, man. All right, guys, remember. Black Sands, The Seven Kingdoms. Get your book, Volume 1, Volume 2. On May 21st, 8 p.m., we will be going live and reviewing these books. It is part of our N-Word for Nerd book club, where we highlight Black and brown authors and illustrators and talk about their books, read the books first, and then talk about them. So, guys, please get your copies, support some brothers and sisters out there. And like I said, again, next week, we will let you guys know what will be the next book up for the series, which will be Jason's choosing, and we'll go and knock that book out as well. But guys, again, remember, Black Sands, The Seven Kingdoms. You can find these books on Amazon. You can find them at Black Sands Entertainment. That's where you can get them directly from the seller. But go ahead and get your copy so we can get that popping. Other than that, man, Jason, any closing words you'd like to give the fabulous young men and young ladies?
Yeah, just be kind, be considerate, and tip your servers and bartenders at least 20%. Except for Jaren, fuck that guy, hate his guts. Next time I see him,
guys, as always, we're always humbled by your response. Next week we will do another comments episode because you guys have been still pouring in with the comments, and I love it. We love to do it. Comments. So, and like always, we will tag you in the comments or send a comment to you, letting you know that you are in the comments show. So if you haven't left a comment yet, this is your time. Leave the comments so we can get it on next week's show and read out loud your funny statements. And if you want to agree with us, hate us, or whatever got to be done. So we'll get that done. Other than that, as always, thank you all for listening. We will see you all next week. Peace.
Thanks for
yes, they deserve to die. And I hope they burn in hell.
Burn in hell.